Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If this is the first time you are visiting with us, we want to extend to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 560 videos that we've arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you've been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. Welcome. I've been framed. Today's project, as you might have guessed, has something to do with this opening. Right, Mrs. Wizard?
Yep.
And this is, it was kind of in fashion some years ago that you put an opening in front of your master bathroom without any doors, right? We have it in one of other houses. Remember, we put French doors in it?
Yes.
But we were never really big fans of this. So today we are going to try and change this to something more modern and more functional. Because when you wake up in different times of the night, lights and so forth can be
disruptive
to your apartment.
Yeah. I've never been a big fan of the no door in the doorway to the bathroom. You know, whoever might be sleeping can't sleep when the light comes on in their eyes and there's noise being made. So, and privacy, you know, is a thing.
So today we are going to attempt to hang a barn door here. We're going to build the door, not buy one. We had to buy the kit, and we are going to tell you about all these details. But we have a hanging kit that we purchased, and then we purchased the wood. We're going to show you how to make the door, or we hope we'll show you how to make the door. We haven't made it yet, so you know, we'll see how it goes. So stick around, and we're going to show you all the steps we took for this project. So today we're going to build this nice, beautiful, functional barn door to finally separate our master bathroom from our bedroom. Something that we wanted to do from the first day we moved to the house until today, and today we finally did it. So if you stick around, we're going to show you every step that you need to know in order to complete this project yourself and save a lot of money in the process. So let's get started. So our first step is to install the header. We are not going to finish it yet. We're going to use it to establish where we want everything to go, right? So we're going to install it and attach it to the studs with screws, and we're going to show you this process and explain to you why we're doing it this way, right? So this will be the header. Okay.
Okay.
So here we're just using our stud finder, and for this exercise, I mean, it makes sense to find all the studs, but we only need 2 at this stage, right? We are going to just temporarily attach it.
Okay, so now we've decided on the placement for the header board and are putting in 2, are these temporary?
Well, they are
To hold them in
permanent,
place.
but we're going to remove them so we don't put all of them.
Okay.
Okay. So we are only putting them temporarily because we're going to bring it down. We're going to put more, probably 2 per stud, right? Mm-hmm. And probably we're going to put a couple of more this direction.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we're using 4-inch screws because we have to go through the 1 inch of the
The
header board and then the drywall.
drywall, and then into the stud.
And we know we hit the stud because we actually hear the clutch engaging.
Right.
So we know
Okay.
we have the stud.
So here's that step. And
Now in our case, it is a little strange. The 2 doors are not level. I mean, the 2 trims are not level.
mm-hmm.
They're a little bit off, you know, and
Yeah. But
we might actually do this door too. So if we do, we're going to have to do something, probably cut a board
yeah.
so the top is straight.
Extend it, but
Right.
smaller.
But to be able to make that match up.
But for this project today, we're going to do it like this, you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now let's move to the next step.
Okay.
So we are not sponsored. This is a Skyzen kit that we purchased in Amazon. We paid for it. Again, we're not sponsored on it. And one kit is for a door, right?
Mm-hmm.
and it's about $40. It is middle of the road. I wouldn't buy the cheapest one. You don't want the door coming down, but there is no need to spend $100 for it either. I mean, it's buy something middle of the road. So we don't even know what is in it. We're going to. How exciting an unboxing!
It's an unboxing in the middle of our weekend project. How cool is that?
And we didn't even unbox it because it just came yesterday, actually. So we didn't have time to. So a little bit of what we're doing, we're going to figure out as we go, right?
Not us.
No, that. It gives directions.
Uh-oh. Distractions.
Okay, the middle ones are the pulleys.
So,
It looks pretty substantial.
yeah, that's a nice heavy.
It goes that way. The
I'm just
metal
showing
sole again.
the
just
width
showing
and the weight, the dimension of it.
Yeah.
It seems well organized. Definitely it was protected, right?
Like some washer type thing.
Right.
Right.
And then it's got some iron.
Those are the spaces between the header and the, I'm sure the rail.
Okay. And then we've got rails here
Okay.
too.
There must be like a connection somewhere between them. Oh, they are. I see. There. That's nice, actually. They're keyed.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
And now I don't know if we might have to bring the tender out to
Yeah.
the header out to connect them. I don't know.
And it came with some more
Hardware.
stud type stuff. Stud.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have a stud, I guess that's.
Well, you don't have to have a header.
Those are some big screws.
Yeah, that's what connects it into the wall.
Okay.
You don't have to. What I was saying.
Have a header.
Yeah, we're trying to do a header because I think will make it easier for us to install, right? But it is not a requirement that you have one.
Okay. So overall, this was very nicely packed. It's very well organized. The pieces seem substantial and will do the job. And again, you said middle of the road, but still looks very nice.
Yeah, I mean, $40 is not the cheapest thing. You can buy some for $29 that just look very flimsy to me.
And you can buy some that are much more expensive.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
you can spend $200 or $300 on them.
Right. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let us get
So here
organized.
we are. We temporarily attach the hardware. And here you need to make sure that it is level for two purposes. First of all, if it is not level, the door will want to open and close by itself, right? It will try to find a stop. And the other more important reason is if it is not level, you might drag on one side of the door and be high on the other, right? You want an equal spacing. Now we have it temporarily here because we're going to show you the next step, what we're going to do. We're going to build the most elaborate story stick we have ever built to determine that the dimensions of the door we're building are the correct dimensions. So we're going to show you that in a moment. Elpida, Miss Wizard, anything we forgot to tell our audience?
Yeah, you just need to decide if you're going to use a header or not, which is really meant for stabilizing the weight of the piece across the studs that you have.
And often it's used as a aesthetic point, so you don't
Right.
have just on the wall.
Yep.
Some people don't like that. You know?
Right. You could do without the header if you made sure you could find studs to put the bolts into. But this evenly distributes the weight, so you don't have to worry about that. But then also you need to determine on your header or, in relation to your door opening and the trim, if you have trim, how far above it you want the rail to be.
And this comes in different dimensions, by the way. I'm talking about the rod now. I bought a 6-foot one. Probably it would have been better if I bought a 7-foot one. But I mean, a 6-foot will work. And if we decide to put another door here, we might have to buy a different header and replace it. But they should be replaceable, right? I mean, this shouldn't be a problem. So measure and find out. This was my ignorance. I didn't really know. I thought it was a standard size. You buy the kit, I should have thought that you can buy them on different dimensions. You can, in case you're wondering. I just didn't know when I bought it, but it is going to work out for us. I don't think there is a problem. So now we're going to start working on making this super duper
Storyboard.
story stick. So stick around. We'll show you how here we took a piece of scrap we had, and we have marked the correct holes for our hardware. and we are going to attach one of our hardware pieces, and we're going to show you how you use the storyboard. Okay. I have it.
You have the bolt?
No, I have this.
Which bolts are they? Is it those?
Well, it's right there next to my drink. The other
No,
side.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's those.
Okay.
Okay.
And we want a washer somewhere?
Probably, I don't care about the washer right now, but in the final assembly, yes.
So yes, for the final assembly, we're going to make sure that all of the hardware is correctly installed, washers and spacers and everything. Right now, for this storyboard, we're just using the bolt to attach it to the roller piece so that we can then measure and mark for the
And it's
correct height of the door.
And it seems that our size was right on.
Yeah, right on.
Is it the same dimension as the other one? We can.
I feel like the heads are different sizes. Do you need help?
Yeah, I cannot do it. You can stop.
Pull this out. Yeah,
I cannot
it
see
is.
from top of it, so I cannot see.
It is.
So now we're temporarily attaching the bolt, and since this is tight, I don't think we're going to put the
Right.
bolt in the back, or what you call it, not the washer. What did you say?
Another washer.
The nut.
The nut, yeah.
Did it come out?
Yeah. Do you need to go all the way right now?
Well, I want it tight, so we have a good measurement of the. I don't need to know about it. I might try to find actually the right dimension to put it, take it on and off with the power.
Yeah.
I don't know if it didn't stop yet.
No, it hasn't. But at least you have a ratchet.
So here we are. This is our temporary storyboard. And as you notice, it tilts inwards because it doesn't have the correct weight yet, right? And there is going to be a guide in the bottom to also guide the door. So the idea is that we are going to now determine how long we want the door to be. So we're going to go and grab another scrap piece so we can combine those two, right? And know what dimension we want.
Okay.
So here's our complete storyboard. And the whole idea is that this gives us now a great way to have the correct size of our doors. And also it gives us a nice template when we want to attach it to the door to know exactly where the screw holes are. I mean the bolt holes are, right? Also it gives us the opportunity to make sure that we don't have any interference when we open and close the door with the carpet, right?
Right.
So as you can see, this is, I think, a good way to do this. What do you think, ladies?
Yeah.
So now the next step will be we have to disassemble. We have to take everything apart. We'll
Disassemble.
need to stain this because it will be the first piece we're going to have to reattach, right? Stain this, and when it is dry, permanently attach it to the wall because now it is temporary. I mean, it seems it is strong enough to actually hold the door, to be honest with you, but we're going to make it more permanent.
We're going to overbuild it.
Well, yeah. So we're going to take everything apart, and we're going to start building the door.
Excellent.
Well, as we usually do, we change our plans. Initially, we thought the header will be stained, but since all the trim around the doors and everything in the house is white, we decided we're going to go with white header, and we're going to still stain the door. Again, that is a matter of preference, and the neat thing is if you change your mind, you can change it, right?
Right.
That's the other fun part of do it yourself. And the next step that has nothing to do with the build is a citronella candle because
Well, it has everything to do with the build because it's miserable out here if you're getting eaten alive.
yes, so Miss Wizard, because she loves sanding, did a little bit of sanding or a lot of sanding, I don't know.
A little bit.
And then we're ready to start painting.
Okay.
And it's set, right?
Yep.
One of the things that makes up for having a relatively small shop is we have all this space around it that we can do things, right? And for painting it's great because you don't have to have the the fumes and the breathing problems that you can otherwise.
Which I'm a huge fan of, not having breathing problems
I thought you were a huge fan of the
and
fumes.
not smelling all the chemicals.
Now here you can go, especially since we're painting it white, we can countersink the fasteners that go to this and cover all the screw heads, or you can let them be visible. The style is rustic, and in barn construction, usually you see the fasteners, right? They make no attempt to hide the fasteners. So I don't think that is a problem. We'll let Miss Wizard decide that.
Okay.
And also this is something you can change your mind, right? Because you can take out a fastener at a time, fix it and reinstall it, right?
Right.
This is not something that, if you change your mind, you cannot do. Now the opposite you cannot do. I guess you could take it off,
You
put
could.
it on.
You could take it off if you put it on.
So Miss Wizard will finish that, and we'll let the paint dry, and we'll be right back.
So the first coat of the white paint is done for the header board. And now,
We are set up to cut the door, and this is the critical step. If we mess this up, that's the place we want to be right? And you see our storyboard is there, that gives us the length of our door. And we're going to once again use our track saw to make this cut, as we did in our last project. And then
So-
we also need to cut one of the boards smaller, right?
right. So what they decided to do was to buy 4 12-inch wide boards to line those up to create the width of the door. Just in terms of the price of the lumber, this was the least expensive way, and it still gives you a really nice big wide expanse. So with those boards, we have 48 inches across from left to right. The opening that we have is going to be 42, which allows for what currently exists, plus a little bit of an overlap so that you won't see the trim behind it. So we are going to trim that 6 inches off the one side of the board. And again, this is specific to the space we're working on. As again, you can see the storyboard that we built inside. We have it lined up there. We've got all the boards lined up. We're making sure that they're all flush. We're going to make a mark on this side. We're going to make a mark on this side, and then we will line up the track for the track saw along there and make one clean cut to make everything the same length.
Okay.
Okay?
So let's make the 2 marks and set the track.
So now we have our track saw set up, and as stated before, we used our storyboard to make marks. We've got the track set up where the mark is here, and you can't see it on the other side because we've already got the saw going, but this is just going to be one smooth cut straight across, so all of our boards are evenly cut.
I cannot promise a smooth cut.
It's smooth. This makes a smooth cut. Okay, here we go.
The saw does fine. I don't know about the operator.
It's all right. We're good. Yep. There we go. There we go.
Self-disposing.
That is perfect. They all dropped off, making way so you can go across, and they're all cut to the correct length.
So our next step now will be to do the rip cut, and we'll need to bring the table saw.
Table
right?
saw out because we are cutting that width off of one of the boards to make it the 42 that we need. Okay?
And then we are going to start the door assembly.
So I am, I'm pleased with the coat that we put on with the regular paint, but this particular paint kind of came with the house, and it is a flat version, and the trim of around the door is more of a glossy finish. So I want it to match as much as possible. So I'm going to touch this up and kind of cover any gaps with a Rust-Oleum Touch white gloss, so that it's a little bit more the same type of finish when we put them together.
Okay.
We have a little, we need a windsock.
Yeah.
You can move closer if the wind is too strong.
On the plus side, it is blowing away from you instead of toward you.
That is true.
So on this one, of course, the visible parts are the one facing you and one underneath, right? In our case, the edges are not really visible, but you can paint them, or you should paint them. Definitely what is on the wall is not visible at all.
Right.
no
So the
reason.
back side of the board, yeah.
No reason to paint it, but in our case, I think one of the edges, of the side edges, is not visible at all. It's on the wall, right? And the other is potentially a little visible.
And as you can see, again, this trigger really makes a difference in how easy it is to use a spray can when you're painting. So now we'll let that dry
Yep.
and move to our next step.
So here we are, we're ready to start assembling the door, and we're using a little creative clamping here because we don't have really wide clamps. And the reason we clamp this here is because we want it to be nice and tight and fresh, right? Fresh looking. So we are going to use the trim. We're going to start applying the trim, and I just realized this is not the right way to do it because we need to put the tall trim first.
Right.
But anyway, we're going to still do it. We're going to have to change it for a moment.
Okay.
And we're going to show you how the trim works. So work on it. That's the first two trim pieces, the verticals, using screws and glue. Now here, stay in the middle of the board with glue. Again, this is not structural, this is just to make the door look better, right?
Mm-hmm.
The horizontals actually are structural. They will keep,
You mean, yeah.
they will keep the door together. But this is just for looks. So technically you can brad nail it and just leave it with glue, it will be fine. But Ms. Wizard
And
does
again,
not like brad nails.
we're keeping the glue toward the middle so it won't press out
Right.
as we put that together.
You have a little bit of working time, so align the piece correctly.
So we've got the board placed and now starting to put the screws on. Again, we've got everything lined up so it's square with the board below.
And I will suggest we go on the other side now so the board will be kept and not move, and then we can do the rest of it. Make sure it's flush. Did it pull it all down?
Yep.
Okay. Now you can go.
And now that both ends are held in place, you can go ahead and work in the middle, because sometimes your boards aren't exactly. I think you have to back that one
Yeah,
out and
back
put
it
it
out
back
and back
in. So that lifted the board a
Okay.
little bit, and if you back it out and then go back in, now it's going to stay flush.
Okay.
So we'll finish that. We'll also do the other side just like it, and then we will start working on the horizontal pieces.
Which again are structural.
Okay. Okay, so we've placed the two verticals. They're already glued and screwed into place. We've put our clamp back into place to help hold those boards as tight as we can.
Go underneath.
And now we're just manually marking the width of that horizontal piece. And we're going to cut that one and move on. So as you can see, we've got the first horizontal board in place. It's very snug fit. And now we're working on the second one, the bottom one. So again, we've got those clamps in place to help hold the boards together as tightly as we can get them with the seams. And applying some glue and going ahead and attaching this there.
You don't
And
need to
then-
save it any?
No, I think we can get it in.
Well, I don't see it. So here is our completed door, as you can see. And the advantage of something like that is, of course, you can make it any dimension you want, right?
Right.
You can also add some more cosmetic elements, like traditionally bar doors have an X in the bottom, right? Or you can put a diagonal member. At this moment, we think we don't really need one. That might change in the future. I mean, again, that's the other part that this is fun, right? If in a couple of years we decide we want to add an element, we can.
Right.
It is not that we have to buy another new door. So the next step will be to adjust to attach the hardware.
Don't you need to stain first?
No, because we need to hang it first to make sure everything
okay.
works.
Okay.
So we're going to modify our storyboard. We wrote the word top here to know this is our top, and this will become our jig now to make the holes to attach the hardware, right?
Okay.
We don't need the whole thick thing, so I'm going to just cut a piece off. Sorry. And this now is our jig, a little jig. We only need to use it twice, but we have it, so why not use it, right?
Right.
And all we have to do to use it is flush this to the top of the door and make the two openings.
Right.
And that should allow us to put the hardware perfectly in line.
Okay.
So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back with you.
We have our storyboard for the holes that we've already created. And we've aligned it with the top of the door, and we also aligned it with this inside edge so that it's set in just a little bit from the edge of the door. We wanted to make sure we weren't too close to the edge, and we're going to use this same configuration on the other side to make sure that we're even.
Okay, and so now we're just making the holes. So just put it in until it cannot go anymore. Okay, and you just want to go to drill until you go through.
Am I going backwards?
No.
You are moving it in the hole, that's why it's stalling. It's okay, go.
Okay. This is very stressful.
Maybe we're running out of juice.
That's what it seems like. Do you have another battery? Right, back with the extra large battery pack. There we go. There we go.
Well, considering that this small battery pack lasts us since we've got the thing, I think I did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And now when you take that on the other side, you need to flip it.
Right.
So we keep the dimensions, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll need the same thing, but the word top now will be on the bottom.
Right.
But it is important that it still stays on the top,
Yep.
even though it is in the bottom.
Go ahead.
The other way around, sideways. The clamp on the side.
Yes. Yes.
So again, just making sure everything's aligned with the top and that inside line of the board. And here we go.
I know it did.
There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we're out here installing the hardware on the door, and the bolts have to come from the back. We do have some bolts. There are some plastic spacers to help make sure that the bolts fit your door and don't stick out too far. Got the acorn nuts that do the cap, and then of course the rail piece.
And everything came with the kit, so we have very, very tight holes. That's why we're actually torquing it in. Yeah, I would do the other one for a moment. Okay, let's see if I can find the power one. So here we are with a unfinished but fully assembled door. And it is hung, as you can see. And for the first time since we bought the house, we actually have a way to cover our doorway, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we have not installed the stops yet, so I have to be careful not to come off. there are going to be stops there
Yep.
to prevent the door from completely going off the rails.
And then likewise at the other end, there's one that is a stop here that holds it in place.
But you can see it works smoothly. It stays wherever you put it.
It is level.
Right, I mean, it doesn't want to close by itself. And maybe now that Miss Wizard sees it done, she will agree to do the other door too.
Let's see. So the opening is wide enough, yes? Go, go in.
The opening is more than wide enough.
Go in.
You can go open.
Go in. No!
Yes. Yes, it's fine.
Okay, and again, the plan is to stain this.
And we're going to show you this process.
But I do like looking at the header being the white trim color because I think that helps it kind of blend in to the rest of the trim work.
And again, the kit came with everything we need. And there's still a couple of more pieces. There are those two pieces that they prevent the door from jumping up, and they are installed on top of here, so it doesn't let the door go too high. Doesn't make sense? So it prevents it from coming off. I'm not sure if that's necessary or not. And then we have floor. I don't know what to call it.
Guides.
Even though that seems to be hanging very good. What do you think?
Yeah.
I don't even know we need the guides, but
I think they just keep the door from going like back and forth
right.
and help hold it in place that
Because
way.
yes, the door will do that,
Yeah.
but it seems to be pretty stable right now.
Yeah.
What do you
Okay.
think? It is not noisy.
No, it's got a very smooth glide to it. Okay, so we are now getting started with staining this door.
And this may be our biggest stain project ever.
All at once. Yep.
By the way, you can leave this door like this too if that fits your decor. Right?
Yeah, you sure can.
So now
Yeah.
this side, this,
Yes.
and the whole front.
Okay.
Also, if you want to be true barn store style, you can paint it red, right? Barn doors typically were red in color. You can paint it actually any color you want. You can even oil it and leave it like this, right? I mean, the possibilities, the options are endless.
Okay. So we'll come back when we're moving on to the next step.
And as you can see, as always, the stain does an amazing transformation, right? To the wood. And we are going to get ready to turn the door over so we can do the other side. But it looks really beautiful, right?
Yes.
It's really awesome.
It came out really, really nice. And you can see here the horde door. So after we finish the door, we're going to hang it and put the stops. And that should conclude the minute. Do we have anything else left?
I think that's it, right?
So as soon as we finish the staining process, we'll get right back and we'll go and hang the door after it dries. So and here is the back of the door. We lifted it on sawhorses so we can stain it. And it's definitely beautiful looking, right?
I think so. Very happy with it.
Definitely a project that you cannot buy for the price of the wood, even with the crazy prices of the wood these days.
No.
And for this project, we did buy a little better quality wood, right?
Yeah, we did.
We didn't buy dimensional lumber. You could buy dimensional lumber and this will make it a little cheaper, actually maybe 20 to 30% cheaper, you think?
Yeah, but also one of the things we ran up against is that the dimensional lumber is much thicker, so it was like 2x4s and 2x6s and 2x8s that were very, very thick. It would have made the door extremely heavy, and so we really didn't want that.
No, and also the cost, speaking of cost, the lumber cost us $120 and we had extra left, right?
Yep.
We buy screws kind of in bulk, so we already had the screws. We didn't have to buy screws.
We already have the stain.
And we had the stain. We are probably using the last one we have to finish this project.
Yep.
But we didn't have to buy stain. So our effective cost was $120. But even if we have to buy screws and stain, it will still be under $150, right? And also you can buy a cheaper kit, hanging kit. I totally recommend this one. I was very pleased. It seems to be very nice quality. What do you think, Ms. Wizard?
Yes, I really like the quality of it. And the instructions were good.
This is not something you have to buy the cheapest. Again, sometimes the cheapest works, but sometimes you need to spend a little more money to get a little better quality, right?
Yep.
So we're going to finish it, let it dry, and then we're going to show it to you installed. So the back of the door is stained, as you can see. And now it's time to let the stain dry, the very exciting part of every woodworking project, and to reward ourselves with a nice Mexican dinner, right? So while the stain dries, we are going to eat dinner, and hopefully after we finish dinner, this will be finished, and we can hang it and call this project complete. Would you call this a full day project?
Yeah, it's a full day project.
And again, we kept the door basic. You can embellish it more with an X or some type of a finishing touch, right? We didn't,
Tons of different designs you can do.
but the construction is the same, right? I mean, it wouldn't change anything. What I like about the way we constructed it is that it lends itself to any size door, right? All you have to do is use a different number of boards and you can build it.
Adjust it to your size.
So you don't have to know the dimensions or anything like that. So from the kitchen of our favorite Mexican place, this is our reward from building today. And this is the best way to spend some time waiting for stain to dry, right?
It's a great way. Yeah.
So we're going to get right to it, and we're going to get right back with you, showing you hanging the door. So stick around, friends. We'll be right back.
So here we have the stop for the rail. We're going to go ahead and install that. It does have two little hex screws that you need to use a little Allen wrench to get out to loosen it up, just so that it slides on easy to the bar.
You can go closer with it.
And then it's going to go up in there. There we go. Focus. Thank you, camera. And then again, you just tighten it back up with that same Allen wrench, hex wrench. We've got several of those, so we were able to find the correct fit. And that's going to be secure. And then we have the second one that'll go down at the other end.
And so it's on a close up.
Sure. Sorry for the earthquake,
And you saw
everyone.
it on a close up.
Oh, this,
The device.
the device. Okay, hold on. Oops.
It's not an autofocus.
There we go. Okay, just a second. So it's like this. It slides on the bar. And
Pretty
these
straightforward.
and these little bitty pieces, if it'll focus again for me, those are rubber, and that's what the door is going to hit against
Like
when it
bumpers.
goes back in. Yeah, little bumpers. Okay,
And you need one on each side to prevent the door from falling
falling
off the
off.
tracks.
Right. So it just stops, and there
Okay.
we go.
Now, depending on your application, you can go more in. You know,
Right.
we need it at the edge. And actually, if you want, Mrs. Wizard, we can adjust that to be stopping the door where we want it. You know.
Well, I think it is going to stop it where we want it. I mean, it might. We could come out just a hair more,
Right,
but
that's what I mean.
But for now,
For now, we'll leave it as it is. But
we'll put it in there, and
with doors like this, there is always a little bit of a fine tuning. Right?
adjustments. Okay.
So this is our final product. We are very pleased with how it turned out. What do you think, Mrs. Wizard? It is exactly what we envisioned. Again, the finish is a personal taste thing. You can do whatever you like for your decor. This is a product that definitely you could not buy for the amount of money we spend purchasing the wood, there's been some discussion about this, right?
Right.
Yes, wood is expensive, but this is $120 worth of wood, and there is no way you're going to buy a barn door with that much money, right?
Nope.
The kit we used, the hanging kit, I was very, very pleased with. It came very well packed. It contained everything we needed, right?
It's nice and really sturdy material.
It has nice detail, I think. And overall, I wouldn't change anything. Would you change anything, ladies?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It turned out real nice.
It is, I would say, a medium to advanced skill level. What do you think? Definitely it's a little forgiving. It's not totally forgiving. You have to be square.
Right.
Otherwise it won't look right? But if you're an eighth of an inch off here or there, this project is very forgiving. It's not going to show it at all. What did we learn? Again, we need an assembly table, right?
Yeah.
It would have made our life a little easier, not being on your hands and knees doing things. Other than that, I think the project went as we envisioned it to go. In all honesty, it probably took about the same amount of time working on the rail and building the door, right? I think it was about the same amount. These took longer than I thought the rail did for me.
Yeah.
The door didn't take as long as I thought. So I think it's about equally divided.
Well, and I think it was expedited by your choice of boards, because you didn't have to use as many boards as your original thought planning was.
Well, yes. And the choice, that's a good point. The choice of board, we changed a little while we're in the store to reduce the cost, right?
Right.
I mean, not that cost is everything, but with how expensive wood is, by changing the dimensions of the boards we purchased, we actually reduced the cost by 15-20%, you think, something like that?
Something like that.
So that is a substantial saving, right? It is not a big deal. It came out really nicely, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it's one of the most straightforward and easy ways to build a barn door. What do you guys think?
I think so, yeah.
Everyone can build it, and we show you how a couple of tips and tricks and how you don't really need to measure anything. In fact, I don't even know how tall this door is, because we never measured.
No, we
right?
didn't measure.
So I have no idea how tall it is.
We did, though, have to measure the opening to be
Right.
sure that we would cover it when the door was in place.
But you still could use a storyboard. It's the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to know
Yeah.
the width of the door. So.
Sure.
But overall, we stay true. Using storyboards and a one-time use little jig to set the holes in the correct spot on the door, we're able to have very little measuring to do and no mistakes. You know, everything was as we were expecting it to be. So if you did enjoy this episode, we would really appreciate a thumbs up. And if you found it really useful and you haven't done so, please subscribe. Also leave a comment, let us know what else you would like to see in the channel. And from now until we hit 8,000 subscribers, every time you leave a comment and a like, you're entered to our giveaway. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, Elpida and the Urban Homesteading Channel, wash your hands, put your masks on, get vaccinated, stay safe, and we're going to see you soon, friends.